brings with it many facets.
Countdown's running amok, double kill for him already. Continex will try and jump away.
The goal is to stay for next season.
One more shot, not quite enough, he does! He gets it! He takes down the mid laner, and Alliance with 4 members alive could finish the game right here.
We're going to see the end of the season, we're going to see who manages to top the league, but we also could be seeing tiebreakers.
The two most exciting things is going to be Alliance and Fnatic.
Rekkles just come off cooldown, and they're going to do it once again. Only 2 men left here for Fnatic. They're going to be falling slowly but surely.
If they stick close, we will have these extra matches, so it is definitely a possibility we get it again.
And it seems that we're doing very well in the beginning. They seem to be struggling a little bit.
Shook meanwhile catches his ultimate, catches 3 members down there. Lucian doing the damage. Celebat tries to flash away, but Shook capitalized on that one. Tabzz gets himself a 2nd kill.
Everything can happen in the standings.
That's perfect placement, and Selfie just catches all 4 of them with his distortion. Millennium just absolutely shredded down by the Super Hot crew.
Who's in playoffs, who's got the top seed, and who's playing who yet. So that we've got to look forward to.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to week 11 of the 2014 European LCS Spring Split, coming to you live from our studios here in Cologne, Germany. I am Lee D-Man Smith, and with me for today's action is my good friend Martin Deficio-Linger.
And it's our final Super Week of the Spring Split, and with 16 exciting matches lined up over the next 3 days, with our standings so close, every team is either fighting for their position in the playoffs or to avoid possible relegation.
And let's take a look at those standings right now. In first place, it is a 3-way tie, no surprise. Alliance, they have an 8-game win streak. Fnatic are on a 4-game win streak, and SK Gaming are hanging on in there. They're all 14 wins, 10 losses. Then in 4th place, it's another tie. This time Gambit and Roccat. However, Roccat own the head-to-head record with Gambit. They have 3-0 advantage over them, which actually gives them a massive edge in those positions.
And in 6th place, we got Copenhagen Wolves just staying in playoffs for now with 11 wins and 13 losses. Right behind them, though, Super Hot crew chasing this crucial playoff spot with 10 wins and 14 losses. And down in the bottom, we have Millennium with 7 wins and 17 losses. They still have a slight chance at the playoffs if there's a 3-way tie between Copenhagen Wolves, Millennium, and Super Hot crew.
So now let's take a look at today's matches. First up, it is Fnatic facing Alliance in a battle at the top of the table. Then that's going to be followed by Roccat and the Super Hot crew as they face off.
And in another fight at the top of the standings, it's our last Classico of the split with SK Gaming against Fnatic. Millennium will then try to keep their hopes alive against Super Hot crew, and then the Copenhagen Wolves and Gambit will close out the day. Following the LCS games, we have a very special exhibition match featuring TSM versus Cloud9 lined up, and after that, the Challenger Series will continue with Denial against Coast Gold.
Now, with so much on the line for the teams, here's the players we expect to make an impact during this Super Week. First up, well, no surprises, it's Froggen. He started carrying Alliance to victory 3 weeks ago and set them on their path to win 8 wins back-to-back. Now that the rest of the team have also stepped up around him, it has given him the freedom to roam, farm, split push, in fact, just about do anything he wants. Second, it is Diamond. He's created every opening for Gambit after the last week's disappointing results. He will be going hardcore to set the record straight during this final Super Week of the season.
Svensson is my first player to watch simply due to how important he is for the entire SK Gaming early game, which is both good and bad. SK Gaming as a team was not winning by having the strongest individual players, but by having the best teamwork. And the synergy between Svensson and the lane's early game means whenever he plays the likes of Pantheon, then he can carry the entire early game for the team. Amazing is my next player to watch. Still among the best junglers in Europe and still leading both EU and NA LCS in kill participation with 81.9%. Just like Svensson, then Amazing is the backbone of the early game from Copenhagen Wolves. Whenever he performs and helps out the weak solo laners, then it buys time for Forgiven to get farmed and for the Wolves to get a lead going into the mid game. And my last 5 players to watch are the entire Super Hot crew. Super Hot crew is in 7th place, fighting to get the playoff spot. And with a roster change and newfound confidence, they're going into their most important week as a young team. With a game against Millennium today and facing Copenhagen Wolves on first day, then Super Hot crew should be able to decide their own fate.
And remember that you can get all the stats on these players and much more over at LOLesports.com. And while you're there, let us know who you think will win today's games.
Yeah, just click on the schedule link, give a thumbs up to the team you think will win each matchup today. We'll check in before each game to see how you voted. You can also get seats to join us here in the studio to watch these pro teams play in person. Tickets are now on sale for the Spring Split playoffs, which begins April 15th.
And we've also opened up voting on the website for the upcoming 2014 All-Star event that will be held in Paris, France, beginning over on the 8th of May. From now through to April 12th, you can pick 3 pro players every day from any combination of teams to represent your region.
And this year there will be a new format showcased at the start of each All-Star Day called the All-Star Challenge. And after the players are announced, we want you to help decide the unique aspect of the game mode the pros will play, and you can then vote for those starting April the 13th.
And remember that the top 2 pros in the voting will go to All-Stars unless they're part of the team going to the Invitational. This means that while Rekkles is in the lead right now, if Fnatic win first place in the playoffs, and that's a big if, I must add, any player in the top 5 votes still has a chance to go. And with 12 days left to vote, anyone can still win. And while we're talking about All-Stars, we'd like you to get on Twitter and tell us what 3 European LCS players will get to the All-Stars and why.
That's a very tough question. Players like Froggen, been impressing everyone, of course. Rekkles, definitely in the run, of course, also. I believe he's number 1 on the voting at the moment.
Big vote for him right now.
Maybe if you look at some of the other teams, I would like to see someone like a Mr. Rales, for instance, from Super Hot Crew, been performing so well throughout the entire season.
Yeah, you got to think of everyone that's been doing well. Forgiven as well.
Forgiven, of course, from Copenhagen was amazing. There are so many players, but be sure to send those to us at LoL Esports and use the hashtag LCS. Shucks will be reading some of your answers later in the show, and we look forward to hear what you have to say.
So, coming up now, it is the first game of the day, finally about to get underway. Fnatic versus Alliance, and this is the final time that these teams will meet in the Spring Split. And the head-to-head currently stands at 2-1 in favor of Alliance. With the teams tied in first place, this match carries with it a huge impact for the end of the split. This is the start of a very tough Super Week for Fnatic as they play the current top 5, starting off with Alliance, who are on an 8-game win streak of their own. However, Fnatic, well, they're currently on a 4-game win streak of their very own after some very impressive performances off the back of the Intel Extreme Masters, of course, which they were placed runners-up. They are playing with confidence, and they seem to have rediscovered their form at the perfect time in the season.
Yeah, and Fnatic has gone back to some of their old picks with Rekkles on Jinx and sOAZ on Shyvana. And both picks worked perfect for them last week. And it's great to see Fnatic expand their champion pool even further and also make the pick and ban phase a lot harder for the other teams. And Fnatic is just playing so much better right now. And the rotation and the coordination are a lot quicker compared to the team we saw during the losing streak. And they just need to keep their performance going as they now face Alliance. But we have to remember one thing. In the last 4 wins, it's been against 3 of the teams who are in the bottom of the standings, and then also a very shaky Rocket.
Yeah, and of course Alliance, well, they're looking to set records of their very own this Super Week as they're currently chasing Fnatic's all-time 9-game win record for the European LCS teams, which they set in 2013 Spring Split, of course, which they ended up winning. The entire team has really stepped up their game, and you can feel the confidence from every member when you speak to them. Last week, they picked apart Rocket and SK Gaming with ease, controlling every single objective.
The current form of Alliance makes them the best team in Europe at the moment. Every member is performing, and more importantly, they're very consistent. Looking back at the last 8 wins, we see the same things working for them in every single game. Dragon control, lane dominance, and great ganks from Shook has been the recipe for Alliance success. And talking about Shook, there are some numbers that really show the difference between Shook from the start of the season to now, to how he's playing now. Shook has a 79% kill participation in the last 8 games, where he had 65% before the winning streak. He also picked up Evelynn, a champion he didn't play at all early in the season, and with a 100% win rate and a KDA of 6.6, then the Evelynn pick is doing work for Alliance. And the Shook we see now compared to the one in the start of the season is a completely different player. We now see a player with confidence and synergy with all his lanes, and it really makes the Alliance early game very, very scary.
And before we get to the game, Shock sat down with the top laner from each of these teams to find out how they met and developed a friendship, and more importantly, how they prepared to battle each other on the Rift.
Tell me about when you first met each other and what was your first impressions of each other?
When did we even meet each other first? I played AD.
I am, yeah.
First K.
Everyone was playing
everything.
You're playing super top lane sometimes.
My team was the most hyped team, and everyone thought we would win because we were doing really well before that. And then we got to the offline event, and sadly we didn't perform. sOAZ's team and xPeke's team both beat us. They were in 2 different teams back then.
I kind of like know him, but I didn't really talk to him at this time, so I just knew him like as a player.
So guys, the All-Star vote is up. Slightly different format to last year, but we all remember what happened last year in Epic 1 versus you guys.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of fun and we were just trying out champions to beat each other, and I still have nightmares about Nuno. So for me it's really important that my entire team goes.
I have the same opinion as Wickd. I think the main thing is to go as a team.
I think our chances are really big if we manage to beat Fnatic.
In my opinion, they're the strongest team right now, since they are performing really well. So if we can beat Alliance, I think we can beat most of the other teams.
I can presume you guys seem pretty good friends. Is that also the case outside of the LCS, or does it just stay in the studio?
I think Alliance and Fnatic are really close two teams. We always or often do things together.
We often go out during the after LCS, during the weekend or stuff like this.
Does that relationship change over time when, in the beginning of the season, it's all chill and there's not that much on the line yet, and then when it comes to the end of the season, you get a little more annoyed with each other, or?
I don't think you get more annoyed with each other. The only thing that changes is how much you want to win against them.
When I lose, I'm really disappointed or sad, so I don't know, I just don't want to talk to anyone.
Then I lose. I'd rather lose to sOAZ, for example, than someone I'm not that friendly with, because I can still be happy for a friend doing really well. And if he outplays me, so be it, because he's a good friend of mine, that's fine.
Yeah, and I can tell you that obviously going out with these guys as well, and seeing them after the game, they're not lying. They do go out together. They party together. They do enjoy themselves in the bar and wherever it may be. They even go shopping together.
Even go shopping together.
It's not complete bromance. Let's not get carried away.
I can warn you, going shopping with sOAZ, he has expensive taste.
They all have expensive taste. They're pro players. Let's get the starting lineups underway. On the blue side, it is Fnatic. That means sOAZ is in the top lane, Cyanide in the jungle, xPeke in that mid lane, Rekkles, the leading all-star so far, as the AD carry, and YellOwStaR on support.
On the red side, we have Alliance with Wickd in the top lane, Sugar's the jungle, Froggen of course the mid laner, Tabzz on AD carry, and Nif the support.
So, game about to get underway. The first game of 16 here in the European LCS for this Super Week. A lot can change and a lot on the line for this game. What are we expecting, picks and bans?
2 picks for Alliance have been so important. Fresh onto Nif and Evelynn onto Shug. I want to see Fnatic either ban them away or at least pick them away from Alliance here. Don't want to risk anything. We've also seen Alliance ban away Renekton quite a lot. I'm not sure if they want to ban against sOAZ, who's been playing more Shyvana at Trundle even, then actually Renekton in the last few games at least. So I'm not 100% sure if they want to ban it, but I could definitely see it as a possible ban.
We've also seen the mid laners, Froggen and xPeke, both playing Nidalee, pulling out Zed last week. Are we expecting to see anything from them?
I wouldn't be surprised to see Zed again. I mean, both of them showed how strong it is. Both of them have openly said this champion, you always have room to outplay the enemy if you play Zed. You can always win your laning phase if you can outplay them here. So for both of them, could be an option. Leblanc as a ban. I would actually like to see Fnatic banned away from Froggen here. I'm not 100% sold on xPeke's Leblanc yet, so I'm not sure if they want to pick it against the likes of Froggen.
So here we go, picks and bans underway. It's Fnatic versus Alliance, and straight away, Evelynn removed. Don't want Shook on that one. I said 100% win rate, as you pointed out. Lulu being taken away from xPeke.
Yeah, so the Lulu ban here, very standard now. On the red side, of course, you don't want to risk enemy team first picking it. Evelynn ban, I absolutely love it from Fnatic. Respecting Shook here, and also looking at what's been working for Alliance. The early game pressure, he's bringing it on Evelynn, remove it.
Well, there is the Nidalee ban, so both xPeke and Froggen have been playing that for recent weeks to good success. Gragas as well, now that is a standard choice for xPeke. It's like the fallback option for the blue side, because it's one of those neutral picks in the mid lane where you can just counter anything.
Exactly. It's actually been, whenever he had to blind pick his mid laner, he would go for Gragas. It's, for him, also a very safe champion. We see Gragas every single time. Get a few levels, then you can farm. You can always do well in your laning phase, and you scale so well into late game. So I like the ban from Alliance. And wow, a lot of mid lane bans.
Yeah, there's the Zed. Leblanc currently open as well. A lot of top laners as well. We talked about the sOAZ and Wickd combo. Could they maybe try and steal Renekton early on here? Final ban waiting for Alliance. What do we think?
Well, so with the likes, of course, Leblanc is open, but both these mid laners play Orianna, so they could have it as a counter pick if the other team is picking Leblanc early. Renekton, of course, been something Alliance have banned away. I'm not sure if they want to do it this time around. Actually, no. Target onto Rekkles here. Don't want to risk him being this super carry on Jinx late game.
I believe he's still got the 100% win rate on Jinx as well, so no surprise taking that away. Despite the fact Rekkles was saying it's not as viable as it used to be. So sOAZ, we're seeing his face right now. We're considering what will be the first choice.
And what I like about this last ban from Alliance is they don't take anything from the top tier of champions here. So Fnatic can first pick, let's say Renekton, and then all of a sudden from Alliance side you have the likes of Khazix jungle and you have the likes of Fresh support, 2 top picks for them. So they can trade with Fnatic here just by banning away Jinx, which obviously, seeing as they delayed it all the way down to the last second, was not exactly something they had planned on beforehand.
sOAZ, big discussions. You can see Rekkles discussing it. YellOwStaR generally is one of the callers in the picks and bans phase. xPeke also making the choice, and it is a Leblanc lock-in.
And instantly response here from Alliance, Khazix. They knew Fnatic would take something, of course, they really wanted over on the red side or blue side, and it meant 2 picks, especially Khazix jungle can be very important here for Shook. So that's what I like about the pick and ban phase so far from Alliance. Also Lucian, been the go-to AD carry for Tabzz in the last few games. He's been dominating on it actually, especially in the laning phase together with Nif, been very, very strong. So I like this pick up here from Alliance, and both teams at least saving the top lane for now. Let's see who actually picks it first.
Tabzz, one of those secret unsung heroes of Alliance, been quietly going about his business and picking up kills and getting that farm alongside Nif, who was played brilliantly out of his mind last week. Even I was speaking to the team after the game, they were just like, Nif was amazing in that game, those flash stuns he was using with Leona.
And let's see actually if Froggen decides to go Orianna against this Leblanc. Normally Alliance will always last pick the mid laner for Froggen just to see everything from the other team side here. So now, of course, they can actually pick the Orianna because they already know the mid lane matchup, unless it's going to be Leblanc top lane for sOAZ.
Okay, if Froggen locks us in,
that was the one he told.
I've mentioned it before, when we were in Katowice, Hai and Froggen spent 2 hours discussing Leblanc versus Karthus and who was going to win. This could be an interesting one, of course. Let's go back. Elise and Leona were locked in for Fnatic, and we saw last week how good Nif was on Leona. Let's see how YellOwStaR can do.
Yeah, but also we know that Nif loves to play Thresh. It's open, it's a very good pick against Leona, especially in the laning phase where you can stop her from engaging by flaying her when she sends blades onto you. So for Alliance side, I'm not sure actually if Fnatic wanted him to pick the Thresh here and was trying to bait something out, but it actually seems they want to go for Morgana instead. And this is the matchup we saw last week. Laning wise, Leona got options to actually make plays here. She can send blades onto either Lucian and Morgana, bait out the black shield, and then change target and stun the guy next to them and lock that target down with her Q, with her ultimate, whatever she's having ready here. So we need to see actually how the laning phase will go, but Nif definitely knows what Leona can do towards him.
And also Shyvana being picked up by Wickd, taking it away from sOAZ. So what is sOAZ going to use to counter this one? Renekton, of course, is open if he wants to go with it. It does mean we're not going to get the Aurelia Shyvana duel that Wickd was maybe hinting towards on Twitter last week, but at the moment he's got a number of options open. Could be the Trundle, of course, countering it.
Yeah, Trundle could be a good option to scale with Shyvana into the late game. If we see a Renekton pick from Fnatic, they obviously focus a lot on the early game. They have to win it early on. With this Vayne, if they actually lock it in, and then Renekton, they will have some early game power and then late game power with the likes of Vayne. However, Elise in top, first time in Europe.
It would be the first time in Europe if sOAZ likes to go with it, and he has. So wow, don't forget it could also be Elise top. sOAZ used to play a hell of a lot of Elise top.
A lot of options here from Fnatic actually with their composition. What I like here about the Lee Sin, if it's gonna go top lane, is you have a very strong early laning phase, and also you can max your E, which means you get a lot of, you have of course your physical damage on your auto attacks, but then you have your magic damage on your E, so it's very hard to itemize against it in laning phase, and he's gonna get a lot of good damage onto Wickd. And if he's running teleport, we have seen this with Lee Sin top lanes in Korea, we've seen it also in NA I believe once. The pressure you can put on the map, because you will win your laning phase, or you're supposed to win your laning phase with Lee Sin, and then you can teleport around people, and you're so mobile, you can set up so many ganks in different lanes.
Maybe Froggen doubted his own decision of Karthus. He did hold out on that pick, and maybe switching across to Kayle, who he has played to great success so far in the European LCS. Looks like it's being discussed. He will get locked in. So, big picks from both these teams. Interesting. I want to see where this Lee Sin's going to end up, whether it will rotate in towards that top lane or whether Elise is going to sit there. I think Elise is going to sit on Cyanide, and it will be sOAZ on Lee Sin in the top lane. First one in Europe.
Only issue here for Fnatic, or not only, but one of the issues for Fnatic in their composition is Lee Sin top lane, very strong early mid game, will be just a tank when it comes to the late game part, unless he's very, very fed. Then he can, of course, make a lot of plays, but late game-wise, he will be outscaled by Shyvana. Elise versus Khazix, I will take Khazix late game any day. Mid lane-wise, Kayle against Leblanc. It's the same deal. Leblanc is very strong, but she's not the same kind of champion late game as Kayle is. And also, of course, the ultimate from Kayle will be able to stop her burst. But the Vayne pick, however, that's the saving grace for Fnatic coming into late game, where we have seen Rekkles in the past, how good he is on Vayne. And he will be able to carry the team.
Well, it is an interesting first matchup we could be seeing here. We are just about ready to kick the game off. So let's see how you voted according to LOLesports.com. It seems that you've picked Fnatic by 68%.
We have to say Alliance have been so strong lately. It's very, very hard to not put them. I wouldn't say it's clear favorites, but at least I would say Alliance coming into this game looks a little bit stronger than Fnatic. But of course, Fnatic, we have seen them in the past. We know how good they are when it really matters.
Fnatic, they won the Spring 2013. They won the Summer 2013. They got 3rd place at the World Championships. They came runners-up at the Intel Extreme Masters. They've got a big fan base, that's for sure.
That's true, but it also shows, I mean, they're in a very experienced team. So when it really matters, coming into this Super Week, of course, the last Super Week of the LCS, or the first split here of the LCS, this is where Fnatic really needs to perform, and as an experienced team, they know when to pull up the big games.
Well, every team in the European LCS is hungry to get that position in Paris All-Stars. Can they be the team that represents Europe? We will see, because both of these teams have a good chance at making it. Fnatic starting out as the blue team, and they're up against Alliance as the red team, playing from top to bottom. We have seen a number of fights kicking off in the level 1 phase since we changed to 4.4, which of course we are on right now. But with this 2-minute cooldown on the trinkets, they tend to all go in the same place.
Yeah, but Peke needs to be careful here if he actually decides to walk down to the bush where Alliance is coming in with Morgana, of course. He was actually in the bush.
Oh, we'll see whether he gets in towards the Dark Binding. Nif did not go with it. He didn't lead with the Dark Binding there. You can see he did level it up. He has got the skill available, but he didn't choose to open up, which often you will see going into that bush would be the Dark Binding pre-fire.
You want to fire a blind one in, and then you run in with 5 people, and then if you land it onto someone, you pick up the first blood or force a summoner. But I actually believe Alliance thought they would be there faster than Fnatic, and they didn't expect someone to stand there, so they just walked straight into the red buff.
It does, of course, mean that Fnatic have got themselves all into there. But it seems Froggen chose not to play this game. He's disconnected.
Oh.
He's like, no, guys, I'm out. We didn't level 1 restart. It's like one of the scrims.
We didn't get a kill.
We didn't get a kill. There's something wrong here. He's clearly obviously having a client restart, judging by the looks of the admin. No touching going on the screen. So Froggen just waiting for the game to reload and get himself back in there. He's
very focused.
He's very focused, isn't he?
Is his eyes closed? Oh no, he's blinking.
He's focused on the game loading. To be fair, when the game's loading, there's not a lot to do, is there?
He just sits there
staring at five screens, so can't blame him. Okay, looks like he is back in the game, so we're probably going to get this pause underway in a moment. The first one of Super Week, and of course, it wouldn't be Europe without a couple of pauses.
Of course not, and possible tiebreakers at the end of this week.
Countless possibilities as well. It's had our mathematicians figuring it all out. We heard Trevor, of course, Quickshot, talking about it in the pre-show. The number of possibilities that we have got for ties is incredible. But one thing's for sure, whoever wins this game is in the playoffs.
Yeah, 100%. And if Alliance win the game, I believe they're 3-1 against Fnatic.
They have really big stats against all the top teams. Despite their rocky start, they've actually pulled out some really good stats. And they're 2-1 up pretty much on everyone in that top 5 area. So they've got a very good head-to-head when we get into the playoffs. Here we go, though. We will get this game underway, I promise.
So, we actually got a deep ward here into the red buff of Alliance. Oh, Fnatic, sorry. So Alliance got full vision of where Cyanide is actually going to start on this Elise. It seems he's going to start the blue buff. Alliance decided not to stay around in the jungle of Fnatic here, so they don't want to try and take the red buff, just want some vision. Maybe even spot out a possible lane swap.
Well, at the moment, we are seeing potential start Alliance thinking they've still got a blue invade, but red invade, sorry, but they've all backed away, which is why they're stacked up on this bush, maybe playing it defensive. Of course, red buff will be spawning in a couple of seconds.
But look here, Alliance dual lane is actually up towards the red buff, so they're gonna go towards the top lane. Meanwhile, Rekkles and YellOwStaR moving towards blue buff will be picked up here by sOAZ actually. So we see Fnatic getting their own blue buff onto Cyanide and now picking up the blue buff onto either Rekkles or sOAZ here. Very good start. They're gonna get 3 buffs and only 1 for Alliance.
Very good level 1 start, and of course given the blue buff to sOAZ, who
will be in a 1v2.
Will be in a 1v2 in that top lane, but it's going to help him out, and he's also potentially, is he going to go into the lane level 2? He's sticking around, taking down everything in there, so he has actually cleared the camp out as well, but he didn't hit level 2.
No, but he's not going to get any XP up top lane anyway, so he's just winning out big time. He's recalling now here. Oh, is he gonna? Yeah, he's gonna recall, so not going to try anything here, but for Alliance, I'm not sure they actually wanted a 2v1 scenario here. I think they were expecting Fnatic to swap up top lane with their dual lane, so that's why they moved Tabzz and Niv there. And now actually they realize, oh, nobody's here. We have to go 2v1 now. We're going to give free farm to this Vayne.
Yeah, with effectively a kill lane, which is what you call the Leona Vayne. Go up against Lucian Morgana. You'd think Lucian Morgana would have a big advantage, which is clear why they want that 2v2.
Of course. That's the thing. They're going to have a lot more poke onto Rekkles, onto YellOwStaR. It's very hard for YellOwStaR to engage. We talked about in Champions League how he needs to engage onto Morgana. So for Alliance side, it's not exactly ideal. Only 1 buff onto Khazix, and now also forced to actually stay and defend. Normally we see these 3v1s, and we see actually Cyanide coming down here. Could they go for a dive?
3v2, they've got the siege minion there, but well, Alliance have got a big wave of minions. They're going to lock up onto Shook, but that may not be the target. Instead he jumps away, he goes towards Cyanide. Cyanide repels, gets away to the minions that had already gone deep in there. A great first blood, and now Wickd's in trouble.
And Wickd actually teleported into a minion here by mistake, I believe. I think he possibly wanted to flash out, so his teleport is gone, this turret is gone. Everything for Fnatic in this early game is perfect.
Well, it's worked out very well, and as you mentioned, maybe got the flash teleport on the wrong key.
It looked a bit weird.
This time around.
I thought it was sOAZ teleporting down at first, but realized he doesn't have any cooldown, and why would he even teleport down at this point?
Well, maybe he just wanted to get more kills. They could have, possibly, but Fnatic take the first tower, they get the first blood, and they have a big advantage over Alliance. Just 1,000 gold already, just 4 minutes into this game. Wickd has yet to back away, going to ward out, make sure there's no one, no little spiders waiting in the bushes there, and he will get himself a tiny bit of free farm. But as you can see, the damage on this top turret, as it is a stronger turret, is only minimal.
Yeah, but it seems Cyanide is the only one going up there to defend. They want to still keep Rekkles free farming in the lane, don't want to have him go against this Lucian and Morgana, so they send him down to the bot lane despite there's no turret, and they didn't actually decide to just push the lane all the way up to the next one here. So they just want to extend the laning phase and just have the bonus of killing the first turret.
Well, in terms of gold, it is actually still Tabzz with the slightest of advantages, you can see, because he's got a bit of farm over Rekkles, despite the fact they did get that assist and kill down the bottom lane. YellOwStaR warding out, making sure that jungle is covered off. Remember, they did take that blue buff, so that ward, if I believe it was a purchased ward, will last until that blue buff respawns.
But Fnatic really took full advantage of the fact that the trinket ward is at 2 minutes now, so they knew there would be no vision from Alliance in this riverside here, and that's why they could go into the blue buff with 3 members, pick it up for free, and once they realized, okay, Alliance are not actually starting this blue, so we didn't find the enemy jungler there, he's gonna be red buff, and that's why it's easy for them to just walk down here, and then also send Cyanide to start his own blue buff all the way there, knowing he was a lot stronger than Khazix with only 1 buff.
I love the sweet irony of the fact that we highlighted the 2 top laners, sOAZ and Wickd, and they are in a 2v1, something both of them absolutely detest in this game. sOAZ though, he didn't go tank, so we'll see how that affects him. Of course, he could be tank. Nice safeguard there, dodging out of the Dark Binding.
There are many ways you can build top lane Lee Sin. I expect him to go something like Tiamat and then into tank, maybe even complete it to a Hydra and then tank. Because generally, you want to have the wave clear, you want to be able to split push, but also you want to be able to be the front person of your team in team fights.
Yeah, with that teleport, he's going to be making use of it, going back towards that top lane. Of course, we are on 4.4, so it's only a 200-second cooldown because he did it onto the tower. So sOAZ returns, gets himself a Doran's Blade along with the Doran Shield he had to start with, and a Ruby Crystal. Looks like Wicked took a hell of a beating. Didn't see what exactly it came from. My guess would be the bottom lane. Meanwhile, Froggen Well, we see Peke diving in towards him. Intervention was used very quickly from Froggen there to make sure he was safe.
And it's actually a big issue for Wickd, the fact that the lane didn't get reset down in bottom lane, so he actually pushed it all the way to the turret of Fnatic. It meant they could start zoning him away with the 2 members, and that's why he's only level 4, not getting NCS. But in the mid lane here, Peke.
Well, they were waiting for him, and he manages to get jump on him. Good in-scene threat, and Claw takes the fear on from Shook. Put a good pile of damage, and more importantly, force the flash from Peke.
Force the flash, force him almost out of the lane. He's actually deciding to stay on now. He started recalling, so force him out of the lane. CS advantage, should be going to Froggen here unless he decides to recall himself once he pushes the wave in.
So sOAZ has been effectively babysit by Cyanide. He's been alongside him for a long period of time. This is slowing Cyanide down somewhat, but he's kept up with Shook no problem. The CS is going to be behind a little bit, which means he's not got such wave clear in the jungle. But we can see, of course, those blue buffs are respawning. We'll see whether Fnatic try and make something of it. You can see Alliance already have Wickd just off at the side of their own blue buff now that it's respawned.
Yeah, and nobody from Fnatic is nearby here, of course. They're actually pinging it because it's spawning. We had vision on it here, but Wickd, well, he started out, he's only level 5, so in case a fight should break out, it seems nothing's gonna happen here because Fnatic just staying in the lanes. But also look here what they're doing. They decide to leave Rekkles alone down in the bottom lane. They want him to get ahead in XP. They want him to be able to split push, because who's gonna stop him? Do you underfarm Shyvana, or force Froggen then to move down and try and stop him here? If he's able to 1v1 Kayle, big win for Fnatic. And now going on to Nif here.
Cyanide going around, gets a little bit of poke on Nif. Nif quick to use that black shield on himself to prevent the big poison damage that will come out from Cyanide. Peke coming up there. That black shield is on a very long cooldown. Wouldn't be available if Peke came up, but he's going to instead back away because, well, Froggen will push that tower hard.
And with all this help here to sOAZ, they're easily defending the turret for now at least. sOAZ actually staying around. Cyanide is walking down, going to do some jungle camps, and he can return up to the top lane in case Alliance pushes it down. And it also means for Fnatic, they continue to get free farm on Vayne down this bottom lane. There's nobody to stop him. Wickd is still only level 5 because every time he comes close, they just force him away.
Yeah, talking about farm, you say you're forcing him away. Look at the CS differential. sOAZ up level 6. He's quite happily farming away. He's got 43 minions, whereas Wickd only 27. Again, he needs the help, needs the support, because this 2v1 is not working.
And that's why we actually see Shook coming down here, him making sure that if something should happen from Fnatic side, he's there to defend Wickd. Didn't want to risk them diving onto him, so he died, and this huge wave Fnatic have built up would then just go to the turret, because Wickd really needs the XP and the CS from this big wave.
The pressure that bottom lane has created has led to Cyanide starting off this dragon. He's going to get the help of the rest of Fnatic as they now come in there. So, first dragon objective to Fnatic. We talked about the objectives early on that Alliance had to secure. It was 9 out of 10 dragons and 4 out of 4 barons last week. Well, Fnatic, they've already taken one away from them this week.
And if Fnatic now can get some vision control around the entrance to the jungles of Alliance here, with their composition, they can actually find a lot of kills easily. Of course, you have single target on Vayne, single target on Leblanc, and Leona to pick out targets. But look here, 2 members coming up towards sOAZ in this top lane.
Yeah, they're going to catch it. It's 4 members coming around, all of them towards sOAZ. He is dead. The question is, who will get the kill? He manages to flash away, but you can see Shook quickly chases on towards him, uses that ultimate to gain a speed advantage. sOAZ kicks him away. He's delaying. What is he delaying for? Is anything happening around the map? Not really. sOAZ is going to slowly go down. It's Froggen's kill in the end.
So to actually get the kill onto Froggen here, Alliance will be very happy about it because they want to make sure Kayle gets a good start, can get into this late game point where you can really start carrying on someone like Kayle here. So fine for Alliance, and Fnatic were not in a position to push anywhere else except for a few hits on this mid turret. So they didn't actually lose anything Alliance by sending 4 members top.
Oh, Peke using that distortion to try and keep that wave clear, trying to keep that farm going. Froggen was happy to just delay for a while, take away the raids and come back around as the wave pushes in towards his tower. So Peke not getting a great deal of damage down on him. Not the greatest of tower pushes on LeBlanc, which is why Froggen felt quite comfortable to keep farming. Looking across the map though, Wickd, we talked about how far behind he is now. Look at that turnaround. Because the bot lane, they had to back away. They went for that dragon, they gave the objectives, but they also gave a gigantic wave of farm, which Wickd has kept pretty much frozen in his lane.
Yeah. Just the fact that Wickd actually left there to farm, the fact that Shook showed early on so Fnatic didn't feel like they could actually dive onto him or force him out of the lane, it also meant that he just got full farm. He's actually ahead now due to the gang onto sOAZ, so the turnaround here from Alliance actually made them be ahead now for Wickd.
Getting about 40 CS overall, I feel. So finally the bottom lane are coming down. Solar Flare going down onto Nif. He used the back shield on Tabzz. The Dark Binding on Cyanide though. Teleport comes in from Wickd. They still have that tower there. There's no minions. So Cyanide or YellOwStaR. The YellOwStaR trying to tank it as long as he can with the safety of sOAZ coming around. And it was a 3-on-3. The teleport not resulting in a kill.
But at least making Fnatic here back off. No kills, of course. Good use of teleport actually from Wickd, preventing something from going down. But still, down the bottom lane, Rekkles is just left all alone, free farming, getting single or XP, of course, full XP by himself, solo XP.
Solo XP is a big thing, and getting a Vayne fed is even bigger because they will become a massive damage threat late game. Of course, Froggen is there with the intervention, so if he does manage to focus some target, he will be able to try and prevent that big burst of damage. But then you got to worry about xPeke on Leblanc.
Exactly, the whole combo from Fnatic here, we actually see very little amount of safe wave clear. That's why they need to split push throughout the entire game. That's why they need Vayne to be ahead. That's why they need, of course, xPeke to be ahead. And the plan for them would be to keep sOAZ in one lane, have Rekkles in a different lane, and then xPeke roaming around between the lanes, trying to set up kills. It's going to require a lot of vision control in the jungle of Alliance here, but as long as they can stay ahead early game, get the outer turrets down, it can work for them. And that's the whole idea about the combo, and that's why we see so much focus on getting Rekkles farmed, so you can one-on-one anyone from Alliance.
Well, they do have, I was going to say, they believe they have the timers. YellOwStaR had that shield ready and waiting to go. I know for a fact YellOwStaR is the man that times all of these buffs, and they had fantastic timing on this one. xPeke steals the blue buff from Alliance.
It had the ward from the last one. Of course, they pinged it away. They saw Wickd even start the blue buff, so easy enough for them to time this one. It also means with the 2 buffs in their own jungle, they can once again get 3 buffs and only 1 over to the side of Alliance.
Not xPeke pushing that mid lane. Froggen without the blue buff will be burning through his mana a little bit quicker, but of course, with that Nash's Tooth on, he will have good wave clear, but again, lacking in the mana department. Only the Dawn's Ring to keep that regen going, and his runes and masteries. As it is, Shook has been doing a pretty fantastic job at farming away, but yet to see any real ganks coming out from him. Of course, he was supportive in that top lane kill on towards sOAZ, but that really has been the only movement we've seen from him so far.
But it's been hard for him to set something up because the laning phase was, I wouldn't say over so quickly because people are still in the lanes, but now it's actually split pushing instead of just standard laning. So it's hard for him to go on to someone like Vayne because there's no CC onto Wickd unless he can actually hit his ultimate onto Rekkles here. So it's hard for him to set something up. Of course, sOAZ in the top lane is a hard target to gank. That's why he's just been farming, making sure getting into this mid game, just like Cyanide, that both the junglers can be strong and farmed.
That's just straight greedy there. xPeke coming in and getting himself a refresh on that blue buff. Wickd and sOAZ are in the top lane together, but look at this. YellOwStaR and Cyanide are coming in to try and bully him. Shook is nearby if he's required. Has evolved his ultimate. That's all he's got though so far. None of those clones are in. They are going to focus on towards him. Wickd on this tower. He has got the tower defense, and it's quite a healthy tower. Instead, he's going to use his ultimate very early on here and try and turn this one back around. They focus back on YellOwStaR, but Rekkles is going to come in as well. Solar Flare misses completely, but Rekkles, Wickd gets pinned on the wall. That's going to be enough. The Condemn gets him down. Shook's going to back away.
So 4 members from Fnatic here picking up 1 kill and a turret. They really want these outer turrets gone so they can get the vision into the area of Alliance. That's why they invest so much to it. But look here in the mid lane, 2 members pushing down. Down the bottom lane, Tabzz getting the turret, so Alliance responding really well.
Will that Dark Binding land? No, it will not. That's going to force them to step away a little bit. Black Shield was used, and he actually goes a little bit aggressive on xPeke there. Don't have any more minions left, Froggen, so we'll step away from that one. But Tabzz, as you mentioned, put the pressure on that bottom turret, and he keeps it all square in turrets, 2-2.
This is what Alliance just need to do, because their composition going into the late game is so scary to deal with. They have very clear, of course, they have tower pushing potential and the straight up team fight with this very tanky Shyvana, very tanky Khazix in the late game, Black Shield, of course, and 2 damage dealers who scales well into the late game. So Alliance just needs to try and hold on for as long as possible, get the needed farm, and then they can try and win when it comes to late game here. But Dragon for Fnatic, nobody's nearby. They don't even want to fight from Alliance side.
Yeah, Wickd was down there in the mid lane and is already backing away towards top, so they did not want to get involved in that one. So it will be the second Dragon for Fnatic. It keeps their gold advantage. It's now just shy of 2,000 gold. Of course, they still have that kill advantage, but they're all even in turrets. But objectives are really working out well for Fnatic so far.
Yeah, and start noticing the wards on the minimap here. Pink ward from Fnatic actually behind the red buff of Alliance. We have another ward up in the top lane. We have some good wards in the entrance to Alliance jungle. It simply means if Alliance wanted to contest the Dragon or want to move between the lanes, Fnatic can spot them out, and with this combo, find them and just kill them instantly.
Yeah, Alliance themselves have barely any vision. As you mentioned, they've only got really the one by the Wraith Cam, which is pretty much a remnant from the lane phase, and they've got that singular one down the bottom lane. So lack of vision for Alliance right now. Fnatic in full control of the map, it seems, and really pushing every objectives. It's the mid lane they want next.
And this mid lane turret is so important for them. It's the last out of turret, and that's why Alliance quickly in there to defend it. Good wave clear from Kayle, of course, and also the Tormented Soils from Morgana will help. So Alliance need to keep this mid turret alive. Otherwise, we can see Fnatic start to just roam around everywhere.
Just that Sunfire Cape. I think Wicked's going to have a bit of a job keeping Rekkles away from this one. Of course, with that Blade of Rune already completed, continuing to shove on. Ironically, all this time we've been talking about Rekkles being on his own, Tabzz has got the CS advantage and it's still building.
It's just two completely different characters, and the job in this game is going to be completely different. And actually going on to Froggen here.
Oh, intervention being used very quickly there. Peke had popped that ultimate of his own, but didn't get any damage down on him because of that intervention, just blocked it all.
But yeah, Tabz's job, if you just come back to the 280 carries, is going to be in the mid lane and pushing. But look here from Fnatic, 4 members coming up to the top end, but Alliance once again ready to respond, ready to clear it, and the Fnatic, they need to back off because of course Lee won't be able to hit the turret, Leona won't be able to hit the turret, and very short range on Vayne makes it very scary for Fnatic to actually push the turrets.
Tabzz getting a lot of warning there, saying there's 3 of them coming towards you, buddy. Don't take that mid lane farm, which you want to go towards. Instead, he may well try and cut off and put some damage back on towards the back of Fnatic. Instead, yep, we will just get a quick poke on him, defending out that turret.
But Tabzz is going to love this game because he's going to be able to just stand in mid lane and farm by himself all the time. The rest of Alliance are going to need to move around the lanes to defend. And now here, blue buff up once again. Look at the ward control from Fnatic. Pink ward and green ward. Full vision also in the area here. So Alliance, they're not able to contest it, and that's why you see them not even move. They're like, we just need to farm, take our blue buff, take our dragon, we don't even care. But Wickd, he wants to stop this red buff.
Yeah, stopping the red buff, and they're thinking of maybe even going for Rekkles. You can see all of Alliance now already transitioned towards this top half of the jungle. The red will go across. I think that was smited away by Shook actually in the end there. Yes, it will do. And he just evolved his wings.
And this red buff is actually more important than the blue buff, because red buff onto Vayne means even more split pushing power. Down the bottom lane, teleport from Wickd to defend this turret.
That's going to keep hold of it. Froggen is there alongside him, but that does mean the top turret has been left exposed, and Rekkles is all up there on his own. Shook is going to go up there, but he's going to have a tough job at keeping Rekkles away from it.
Yeah, and Shook, if he decides to try to 1v1 Rekkles, of course he has the red buff, so he will be able to slow him down, but it's going to be very risky for him against the Blade of the Rune King.
It's just going to clear that wave, make sure it's safe. Tabzz is now rotating up here, so it's going to be AD carry versus AD carry. That means Wickd, who is also rotating up, was thinking of trying to get around the back of Rekkles, but Rekkles already stepping away. So both these teams trying to use a lot of rotations, map prowess, but really just dominate and try and push them around. Fnatic have always been very good at the rotations, but it seems so far Alliance are matching it.
Yeah, so we have like the offensive rotations from Fnatic, always deciding where Alliance should be defending or where they should be with their members. So they have control of the map, but Alliance are just doing a very good job responding and always send the right members to the right places. And that's why we haven't seen Fnatic actually take any turrets or any of the inner turrets yet.
It seems that every time Tabzz moves to that lane, Rekkles is like, fine, I'm going to go elsewhere. And that's what's happened this time around. We saw Tabzz go to the top, Rekkles said, fine, I'm going to go back, I'm going to buy, gets himself the Zeal, returns back to the mid lane, try and keep the pressure back on that mid turret.
Tabzz will actually be able to kill Rekkles if they decide to 1-on-1 at this moment. Wickd, on the other hand, full tank Shyvana, can never actually get onto Rekkles. He can jump in, condemn him away. What's he gonna do? He's just gonna run after you. So Rekkles always want to try and be in the lane with Wickd because it's free farm for him, it's safe. There's nothing Wickd can do to actually shut him down. Tabzz can dash into his face and do the full burst, and actually going to do a lot of damage onto him.
Rabadon's death cap now completed by Peke, so we'll see whether he manages to try and burst someone down. Cyanide starting off the blue buff for Peke. Meanwhile, this bottom lane, they are trying to set up a gank, but you can see by the minimap, there's no one anywhere near this one.
Now, all the members from Fnatic actually look towards this top side instead. Rekkles moving up here, sOAZ already in the top side. Could they try and get a kill onto Wickd? They should be able to dive him because sOAZ can actually tank the turret.
It's a 4-man dive possibility. Of course, he has got that Dragon Descent to try and jump away from this one. And now we are starting to see things that I was about to say, they're leaving the mid lane exposed to Tabzz, and that's dangerous. They could, of course, be trading. And, well, Froggen's going to go on towards xPeke. xPeke is into all sorts of trouble here because he's been caught out. Will Froggen flash free? It doesn't matter. He had the ignite down. He gets the kill.
And this is why xPeke is not supposed to be the member going 1v1 against Froggen in a side lane. xPeke is supposed to stay in the mid lane here, make sure Tabzz can never hit the turret, and then you need either sOAZ or Rekkles down the bottom lane to try and one-on-one him. Going on to Nif.
Nif in trouble. He's going to go down. He's not going to get that ultimate off. He's not going to get anything off. He was completely locked down by Fnatic.
Beautiful setup here. Dragon coming up in 14 seconds. The timing is perfect. Let's see if Alliance actually want to try and defend this one. Wickd is already moving down from the top lane. This could cost him the top turret.
Shook uses his ultimate, tries to gain the ground, and it pounces in there. He does manage to get a claw on towards Cyanide. He's going to repel across towards the Wraiths. The rest of Alliance are backing him up on this one. They have left Rekkles alone on the top turret, so this is going to be a Dragon for an inner turret. I'm not sure it's a trade I would go with, but it's going to work out for Alliance.
It's definitely a trade Fnatic should be happy with because they just want to get the turrets down, open up the map even more, and he is going to get it here. So Fnatic decides to back off, don't want to risk fighting 4v4 against Alliance here.
So tower for Fnatic in the top lane, Dragon for Alliance. First Dragon, by the way, I might add. xPeke, he's got to be careful. He's going to be going straight into this bush, and he's going to get Froggen straight in his face. Intervention already used here. A little bit early on that one. Didn't have the ignite this time around to make the kill.
As long as Froggen times his ultimate, there's nothing xPeke can do against him. That's why they need to make sure he's not in the lane with Froggen, and that's why you actually see Alliance sending him down bot lane every single time they spot out the members from Fnatic. When they see Rekkles top and sOAZ mid lane, fine, Froggen will just go bot lane.
Froggen keeping that farm going. Hasn't got that death cap yet. We're finally seeing xPeke actually putting a little bit of magic resist in there.
He should get the death cap now, though.
I wonder if he's going to go for Merc Treads or what he's going to go. I would be surprised if he did, but you never know. But as it stands, we do see the death cap now completed on Froggen, and we'll see whether Alliance decide to group up. These two mid lane turrets have been standing for a very long time, in the 23-minute mark now, with only 3 kills and 2. It is actually a low-scoring early start game, and both these teams probably feeling the pressure of being in that #1 spot.
Yeah, while we don't have too many kills, I still feel there's a lot of action because all the teams are moving around all the time, forcing everyone else to move. Wickd actually coming on towards sOAZ here. Alliance, they want to fight.
Yeah, Rekkles is there, and they're putting a lot of damage down, forcing the cull in from Tabzz there. They're really only fighting for one single objective, and it is the blue buff. But this time around, it seems Alliance want to fight for it.
And this time Alliance is actually having some wards around this area, so they had vision of the blue buff spawning. Let's see what's going to happen here.
That leash is not going to land. Shook managing to outtime that one. Blue buff is possibly going to get smited away as Cyanide comes in. He wants to get vision, gets the smite down.
Of course.
Gets the solar flare on towards him as well. Now Wickd dives in there with the intervention on him. They're going to try and focus xPeke, but he can just distortion away. And now the rest of them, they get the condemn on Wickd. It forces him in there. sOAZ is trying to pick a target out, but Tabzz instead is too mobile to track him down. Now they're going to dive on Wickd. Wickd's so low, but he gets away as well. It's a messy fight. Shook jumps back in. I'm not sure why, but instead he's going to get closed down. No, he gets the kill. sOAZ goes down. xPeke was the one that got it. xPeke himself will go down as well to Tabzz. It was a really reckless ending to that fight.
But the binding for Nif just here in the end, right into the face of xPeke when he tried to jump in here, and Wickd instantly teleporting over here, pushing down this turret. Nice move by Alliance.
Great use of teleporting is going to net them 2 turrets. Big push here. Alliance could keep on going. They could go towards this inner mid turret. This is a great fight turnaround from Alliance.
They should be able to pick this one up here, so Alliance just fully capitalizing on the fact they took down 2 members of Fnatic.
Fantastic rotations. We talked about how Alliance were countering Fnatic every step of the way. We are going to see sOAZ now teleported into mid lane. I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to land this Sonic Wave. He wants to kick someone in, but Froggen's not having any of it and turns it back around on sOAZ.
And of course also the Black Shield would actually prevent him from kicking them back into the team. There was no... Oh, there was actually alternate, but now they're starting the Baron. There is a ward from Alliance, and of course Fnatic didn't know this, so they can see a fight.
This is a risky peel play from Fnatic, I feel. Nobody is down on Alliance. Nobody backed away from Alliance. Shook's getting caught out though. He's have to try and stealth up there. There's the Black Shield on towards him. He's going to keep vision on xPeke, but there's no one putting any damage down towards him. They have peeled away. Shook may get caught out, but that stealth working wonders for Shook.
Yeah, look how much attention he's actually getting from the Fnatic team, and just due to his stealth, due to his 50% damage reduction, he's just tanking everything. But Fnatic now finally getting this mid turret. They really wanted it earlier in the game.
Yeah, managing to bully their way into that one. The Cullen's going to clear out the minions, which will put a halt to Fnatic's process. Wasn't sure whether Wickd was maybe looking to come around the backside of them, but they're not. They're going to have 2 members go back to the fountain, try and heal up, buy themselves some items. While meanwhile, Fnatic, they're going to try and rotate and push his bottom turret.
So let's see actually what Fnatic wants to do after this one, because Froggen is already moving down. He should be able to defend it, unless he's actually the only member, because the rest of Alliance is staying in the mid lane. So let's see if Fnatic, will they dive him?
Solar Flare being used, intervention already. That's a very early intervention. It may well be the death of Froggen. It will be. It's Rekkles that gets the kill. The rest of Alliance not even close to responding. They will get here just in time to save the turret. No, Fnatic get it.
Alliance expected Fnatic to back off after they took the mid turret. That's why it's only Froggen moving there. The rest of Alliance were going into the jungle, just clearing out the mid lane. Nobody moved. Fnatic though, see the situation, instantly pops the ultimate and kills Froggen and the turret here. So both teams are really making sure whenever there's a small mistake from the other side, we will get your turrets, we will get kills, we will get farm, and both teams are just playing so well.
Bunch of items coming out now slowly but surely. Of course, there's been a long farming session between these two teams, so no surprise we're starting to see a couple of big items are coming out. Trinity Force was completed by Tabzz, Phantoms Dancer was completed by Rekkles. Meanwhile, are we going to see them going in towards that Baron once again? Fnatic are all close by. They have 2 pink wards just to be safe in there. Not too sure why they went for 2, but instead they're going to dive on towards Nif. But Cyanide's gone very deep on this one. Takes all of the culling damage there, and the rest of Alliance are close by. Void Spikes do land on the rest of Fnatic, but they're going to step away.
But also look how aggressive Fnatic are playing. They have in their mind saying, late game Alliance combo is so strong. We need to make sure we can make plays now. We need to win the game now. That's also why they started the Baron before. So they really want to set something up.
Well, they're going to try and dive on Froggen, and once again the intervention used very early. This time around, can they turn it around? No! The intervention again runs out too early. sOAZ goes very deep on this one, on towards Nif. The ultimate will land. It's going to stun him up. They're going to try and jump on towards him, but this is sOAZ, the tank Lee's in. xPeke's going to get talked low. He manages to get away, but they're all so low. Fnatic are running away from this one. And Alliance, will they try and push them in? They are. They're going to run for it.
Non-stop action here, Fnatic. They pick up 1 kill, they continue going, and now they can take the dragon. Or will Alliance try and come in top? No, they're too far away. Dragon for Fnatic here, can back off, reset everything, and let's see if they want to go out to the lanes or want to go back up to this Baron where they have 4 pink wards at the moment.
Alliance far too slow to react to that, and actually seemingly looked a little bit lost once they were like, oh, okay, what should we do? Should we go for this? Not too sure. Maybe a miscall coming out of Alliance has given Fnatic that slight edge and continuing that gold advantage they have. They have the turret advantage, they have 3-1 in Dragons now, and of course that's all led to a 3,000 gold advantage.
And they're just making sure every single time there's a chance for them to engage, they will do it. That's why they have this Leona to just land on the ultimate, go straight for it. sOAZ jumping in, always trying to land a Sonic Wave to find a target he can kick back to the team here. So Fnatic using the combo really well, the mid-game power spike combo with, of course, the Lucian top lane. We saw how tanky he was in the last fight, so they just want to make sure they can force fights. And Alliance just want to make sure they can actually survive them.
Well, they're just farming pink wards right now. Oh, that was a good use of Black Shield there from Nif, keeping Shook alive. sOAZ would have landed that Sonic kick otherwise. Wickd just off of the side there, very close. Patches Veil will get popped again by the Sonic Wave of sOAZ, and the rest of Fnatic, I'm not too sure they're fully committed to push this mid lane.
Look at Tabzz, still ahead in CS, completed his last Whisper now. So he's getting very strong and very hard for Fnatic to deal with. How are they gonna kill him? Jump in with Peke towards him, Black Shield, intervention from Kayle. He's not gonna die. He's gonna be able to stay in the back line unless he's gonna get caught up by someone like sOAZ or Cyanide. Then he's gonna stay back and just fire away. So Tabzz might actually end up being the most important member from Alliance when it comes to the late game.
Well, teleport available for both top laners, but it is Rekkles we see heading towards that top lane alongside Cyanide. So Fnatic a little out of position as Alliance look to try and shove one of these waves. They don't want to go too deep though. They don't have really any ward coverage. And you can see the ward was just placed in towards that mid lane. They got the one in the river, which is why Wickd continues to push down that bottom wave. And there's no reaction at the moment from either team. They just want to keep that farm going. They've had a little bit of a delicate period. It's actually Froggen that got caught out twice during that, which led to Fnatic's big advantage they suddenly gained. But overall, it's still very even between these two teams.
Look at his items. He's not going to be stunned up anymore. If they engage onto Froggen, he's going to have the Quicksilver Sash to cleanse it and just get away here. So he actually decided to say, I'm the focus from Fnatic right here. I want to make sure I can always get away in case you landed onto me.
And And that's an item you really never see on Kayle.
Rarely,
Simply
at
had
least.
to use it, simply responding, and like you say, using it purely in response. That pink ward coverage will get cleared out. They do have themselves a ward at the front of the Baron pit, so Fnatic still keeping that good coverage. The pink ward of their own was placed in towards that. That will get spotted by the sweeping lens. But this is a battle for vision right now between these two teams. Rekkles taking a little poke, but he's going to clear out that ward. Bottom lane was shoved in completely by sOAZ. Wicked's trying to do the same to the top.
Yeah, we actually saw Fnatic just spread out here. Didn't decide to just start up Baron instantly again because they knew Alliance would be ready for it, would be nearby. So slow down a little bit, get a few key items on their members. And actually what I like about this Quicksilver Sash as well is the fact he can cleanse if he gets silenced by a Peke, for instance. So he won't be affected by it. And that's where I also like it.
So 3,000 gold still separating these two teams. Fnatic looking to try and slow things down here. Peke's going to be careful he doesn't get caught out because he was caught out twice by Froggen as well. Let's not forget that one. Wickd is off on his own still, farming out that bottom lane, keeping it pushed, keeping it going. He's got a slight edge in farm over sOAZ right now, but that's not really the focus anymore because they're not going to be fighting each other, that's for sure, because he's gone for that full armor and magic resist build over Fnatic, who are looking to try and land some damage here. Shook, good black shield again coming out of Nif.
But Fnatic just staying around this Baron here. They don't feel confident they can actually split push. They don't feel they can deal with both Wickd and of course Froggen, who is very, very strong here. So that's why they don't spread out in the lanes. That's why they don't push them up, because if Froggen goes up here, teleport actually coming in, there will be a fight.
sOAZ had gone down the bottom, they spotted him. YellOwStaR's going to get focused out here, put a lot of good damage down in fairness, but he will get dropped early on. Wickd uses that Dragon Descent, it's going to be Rekkles to try and focus on towards. They see Cyanide, he's repelled, but he's only going to come straight back into the rest of Alliance. He goes down, it's a double for Wickd, and now they're continuing to chase in. Rekkles gets chased down by Tabzz. Fantastic stuff. Peke off at the side there, but Alliance can go straight back in and take that Baron.
And the coordination from Fnatic in this team fight were completely off. One member went in, the rest actually backed off. They had to wait also for the teleport from sOAZ before they could really engage. YellOwStaR though was already behind Alliance, setting something up, the first one to go down. And the team composition from Alliance here in team fights just showing how strong it is, and also why Fnatic was so desperate early on to try and force something.
And more importantly, look at the damage done to Wickd. That wasn't done by Baron, they were focusing him, and that's probably not the right target.
But looking at the backside, YellOwStaR going on to Tabzz. The rest of Fnatic are already backing off here. Down in the bottom lane, sOAZ is still teleporting. He didn't join yet. Now he comes in at the Baron. YellOwStaR is already dead. It's already 5 against 4. Tabzz now in the back line. Nobody's gonna touch him. Froggen untouched as well. There's nothing from here on that Fnatic can actually do. Also, when the Sonic Wave misses from sOAZ, he's not able to even go in and actually needs to use the kick onto the tank.
Peke trying to do anything he could. Almost got chased down by Shook there, but good managed to chains to keep him away. It would have been the death of him as well. So, Baron buff for Alliance. That turns the gold on its head. But more importantly, the fact that they are, 800 gold advantage to Alliance now, and they have that Baron buff, which many have equated to 8,000 gold advantage because of the stats that it gives you overall in terms of items.
And now they have the ability to just push down here because the wave clear on Fnatic, we talked about it long ago in this game. It is very hard for them to actually safely clear the wave. They need Peke to use his distortion onto the minion wave where he can be caught up by binding or at least take some poke. So let's see what Alliance decides to do. For now they're staying grouped, only with Wickd down the top lane, and sOAZ actually trying to sneak this dragon.
Well,
it's gonna work.
Spot it. He's going to sneak it. But the rest of Alliance, they're actually going around the back of him. They're going to run towards his bottom turret. They want the inner turret. They're going to lose the dragon at the cost of it, but I'm not too sure they were too worried about that one. They will surround the bottom turret and take that one with ease. Wicked's coming in there. The rest of the team rotates around, of course. With the Baron, they can keep pushing.
They can keep pushing here. Fnatic again. It's very hard for them to actually defend this. This is some of their wave clear. The Spider from Cyanide, Distortion from Peke, and then they just need to pretty much auto-attack clear the wave. That's why Alliance can so easily move in, get a few hits on the turret.
There's a good culling coming out, actually put a lot of damage down towards Cyanide. The wave was cleared quickly though, of course with that distortion that Peke has, but look at this, they're tanking it through, they're tanking it up, and they are doing a lot of damage. Half that hit points already shredded from the turret. Tabzz is going to get himself a second bite at it in a moment as his next minion wave comes in. Shook getting quickly burst down there, but again, quickly defends himself and gets that regen.
But still some good damage here from Peke with the blue buff. No blue buff actually, so he doesn't have the extra mana regen and cooldown reduction. But Alliance just continue hitting on to this turret every single time they get the chance. And they should be able to get it. If not next wave, then the next one again.
was a good cocoon by Cyanide, and Peke again trying to burst down. This time he catches on towards Froggen, but Froggen keeps healing up that damage, of course, with a lot of ability power of his own. He can top people up pretty quickly. I mean, that's exactly what he's doing. You can see him speeding around as he heals himself up. Next Kong line comes in there. It is a siege minion. Will they try and go for this one? Wickd goes in, takes all that front-loaded damage. sOAZ getting locked up. The Colin coming out. He gets blocked off. YellOwStaR saves the day. Peke comes around the back, gets a burst down on towards Shook, but they have taken the turret. Now Cyanide's running for it. It's only the inhibitor they're going to go for. They only want the objectives, and then they'll back out.
And now Alliance can back out here. Yes, they lost the member, but still got the turret, got the inhibitor. They don't care about kills now, but Fnatic chasing on, seems to back off here. sOAZ was not in range for Sonic Wave.
Well, they'll be chasing into a jungle they have no vision of, which is always a bad way of starting a fight, which is one we see YellOwStaR leading the charge, but they're not going to be able to focus down. Everyone from Alliance has stepped away from this one. They didn't know the timer on Dragon again. They went and just checked the pit there, but look at this. They haven't stepped away. They want to try and catch someone out at red.
So simply due to the superior vision control here, we actually see Fnatic putting down wards now to make sure they can spot out Alliance. But they saw some members moving in, wanted to try and move around and catch them out here. Actually have full vision of Peke up here. Seems to want to play it safe.
Yeah, they swept out, cleared one of those wards, but Alliance will back away. Still with that Baron buff, it's going to be, what, around about, let's have a quick look at it. It will be, it's not far from running off, actually, on the members. It's got about, I think, a minute left on it, but by the time they've regrouped, rebought, and come back, it's probably not going to be available for the next tower push.
And we also have a Banshees now on 2 Tabzz. So he's, again, Black Shield. You have your own shield. You have your dash. You have your intervention from Kayle. How on earth is the AD carry gonna die from Alliance side? That's the thing for Fnatic here. That's why we actually see them going for different members. For instance, Shook was the one Peke decided to do all his focus on in the last fight here. And it's gonna be so hard for him once Alliance again pushes down, unless they decide to wait for the next Baron, giving Rekkles some time to farm, because we have to remember, Vayne late game is very, very scary, and Rekkles is an AD carry who can actually solo carry his team.
Only if he can get close enough, though.
If he can ever get close enough.
Which is going to be tricky. There's 2 slows, technically 3 with the red, I guess, in there as well. The dark binding. You're going to have a dragon pouncing at you, an insect flying in. There's a lot of objectives in your way to try and maybe get towards one of those squishier targets, which, honestly, there's not that many squishy targets right now.
No, that's the thing. Even the squishy targets here got abilities to stop damage from coming to them again. That's the thing with the Kayle we talked about, is all the shields, the Banshees onto Tabzz. Everyone is having abilities to stop getting damage. You even have a Kayle, so you have an extra cleanse onto Nifty. He can put onto whoever member he decides to put it on. So Alliance composition, we talked about in Champs, like how strong it was late game, and also the items they have been building now, just makes it very hard for Fnatic to do anything, unless they can try and catch out someone if Alliance should make a mistake.
Out of interest, I'm trying to think when the Talisman was completed, or more to the point when he started building it. But you can see Talisman's actually got himself, what, about 760 gold. The Spell Thief has got him around about 1200 gold. So a big advantage from that Spell Thief, which, of course, as a Morgana, you generally pick up from the very beginning.
Yeah, and you get a lot of gold from it, of course. And he's now he's able to now provide a small slow, or 80% slow for 2 seconds, sorry, onto someone if he lands the skill shot from his Frostfang here. Let's see if he actually decides to use it offensively or defensively. I mean, Frost Queens, of course.
Frost Queens, yeah, and the moment Alliance are going to rotate to the top inner turret that looks like they want to focus on. They're going to try and steal away the blue buff, but it is not there. It's already been gone down, so they're going to clear out the wave instead. I think Wicked's just going to tank this one up. Yes, they are going to make use of that tank because it only needed a few more hits. Wickd, of course, had gone there early. Look at Fnatic, though. They're going to try and chase this one down. They know the Baron's up in 30 seconds' time. They're going to try and get in there and get some ward coverage.
Exactly. Fnatic is doing the right move here. They want to make sure they can get some vision, just not give everything over to Alliance. That's why they instantly rush up here as they spotted them, taking down the turret. Yes, the bottom lane is pushing. Teleport sOAZ now back to defend here. Remaining members needs to make sure this area is not too easy for Alliance to just clear, because then they can just take the next Baron easily.
Remember the last fight, though. That teleport sOAZ was not in the right place at the right time, and with those wards being taken away, he's going to have to teleport in from some distance. Fnatic are going to have to throw a ward down. Cyanide getting caught out there. Not too sure if they realized the dark binding had covered. They didn't really execute on towards it. Now they do. Cyanide getting caught down. He's going to jump in towards it. Rekkles doing damage from the side here, though. This is a good fight maybe for Fnatic. They've got themselves choked in towards a corner, and that works wonders for the distortion. We see Peke going in. Wickd taken low. Rekkles gets himself one. They jump on towards the next. YellOwStaR focusing down. Shook taken so low. Tabzz is going to get focused on. He's going to get caught down. Froggen goes down.
down. Rekkles gets himself a double. The choke point was disastrous for Alliance.
But perfect team fight by Fnatic here, getting Alliance in this area where they can move around, leaving Rekkles in the back. Nobody touched him, and he just managed to hammer away on every single member from Alliance moving close, and also the distortion in from Peke onto multiple members. Alliance now, big mistake, and Fnatic capitalizing on it beautifully.
Strange error from Alliance. They really caught themselves out, and they were simply chasing down Cyanide. They thought, we've caught out this jungler, it'd be great, we can take him away, get rid of that smite, get rid of that damage, danger on towards the Baron, but instead they didn't realize we've caught out the tankiest member of Fnatic, who just repelled away and said, what up guys, we got Peke and Rekkles doing the damage from the back.
Yeah, and again, as you just said, more importantly also Wickd using his ultimate on towards someone like Cyanide here, so he didn't get even to the backline of Fnatic, and that's why it was so easy for Peke and Rekkles just staying back and doing all the damage. Ooh.
Peke caught out, Tabzz using the culling, but it was only on the Mimic. Instead, Red Buff will go across from him. So, Fnatic have the Baron. They have themselves a 5,000 gold lead, and now they are back in charge of this game as they were earlier on from the lane phase. So, we'll see what they can do with it. Can they put the pressure back on towards Alliance? Because Alliance have only got that one inner turret remaining in the mid lane, whereas the rest of them are just inhibitors. So, let's not forget, Wickd has a teleport. There is an exposed inhibitor down that bottom lane. There is a potential to backdoor if they can keep that wave pushed.
We also have to remember, just like we talked about when Alliance were pushing up, great wave clear from Alliance. Very, very minimum amount of wave clear from Fnatic here. So Alliance should be able to at least defend the lanes, unless Fnatic feels confident just diving onto them. Don't want to give them any chance to even hit the minions, just straight up engage and go for them.
The moment Froggen shows himself, yeah, they just realized it. They saw the whole Fnatic in that mid lane, realized, I cannot take this wave, I need to be around here as quick as possible. Wave was cleared with the culling. Are they going to try and tank this one up? No, Froggen is there now. They're going to have to go aggressive on this turret. They're going to take it down. Nicely sieged out there from Fnatic, and a quick burst from Peke as well. Gets a good distortion on 3 members.
So yeah, with these tanky members from Fnatic, they're just standing here. They don't even care about the minion wave being cleared from Alliance. They're just going to get the damage here. And due to Froggen not being nearby, Alliance didn't feel like they could do anything to stop them from hitting the turret.
There's a big wave pushing the bottom lane. That may well get rotated on again. Fnatic trying to get some poke on there, trying to catch a target. Wisely so, Tabzz is staying very much well away from this fight. He's making sure the Peke can't get close enough. They're keeping that wave clear going. Dark Binding is not going to land. And they are keeping him at bay just for now with that Baron buff remaining. Wickd steps off the side. He has to clear that giant wave.
Good timing though again, gets the wave cleared once the mid wave is already gone here. Fnatic not feeling confident enough diving onto Alliance again. It's very risky when there's a Kayle and of course a Black Shield, very hard to dive against. So we actually see them now spreading out a little bit on the map, getting red buff onto Rekkles. Very important for him kiting in the fights. If he can kite against Wickd and Shook here, he's gonna be so deadly.
Culling used again from Tabzz to clear that wave, keep them away. A little bit of poke back on towards Peke, quickly gets healed off with that buff. Shielded up, of course, as well from the safeguard of sOAZ. And they really haven't put much of a dent on this turret just yet. Again, Tabzz keeping focus on this one, and sOAZ may have to go very deep on this one if he wants to try and pick out an opponent.
You see every single time Peke tries to jump in to harass a little bit. The Dark Binding from Nif, he pops back out over and over again. Alliance keeping the turret for now. Fnatic just staying here. Still got the regen, of course, from the Baron buff, and also a big wave coming up in this top lane.
Big wave, and you can see sOAZ already heading up that way. Fnatic thinking of maybe rotating towards it. Ooh, Sonic Wave catching on towards Nif there. Didn't fancy that target. It's Tabzz that they're really looking for, or a Froggen. Just something they can get juicy target. There's a good burst of damage onto Shook, but quickly gets healed off again from Froggen. There's the culling on a very quick cooldown, clearing out that wave. They have to rotate up towards the top there. Wickd really doesn't give too much cares about that one. He gets caught out. sOAZ tanking up the turret. No damage going on towards it though.
But very few hits here from Rekkles, actually making sure whenever he got the chance, he moves in, get a few hits, backs off here. It's all Fnatic can do, and it's the thing we talked about. So for them now, spreading out again, realizing we can't actually push onto this turret, we have to go back here. I feel like Fnatic should actually just start split pushing again, move Vayne in one lane, put sOAZ in a different lane, keep Peke in the mid lane to roam around, and just try and force some fights here. If they get Rekkles against Wickd, he's going to be able to get a few hits on the turret every single time. And if it's Froggen, well, just back off a little bit, let sOAZ push down the bot lane, let Peke roam down, try and set something up.
Well, as we hit the 45-minute mark, you can see this game is still very, very close. It is, in terms of gold, a big advantage for Fnatic, but as you just saw, even with the Baron buff, they just could not siege their way into the base. And waiting to try and land one of those picks. Alliance playing it savvy, making sure they didn't show themselves too much. Alliance, they don't have any ward coverage, is why they're very much delicately approaching these areas of the jungle, making sure they can get those wards down, get some sort of clear vision, using those sweeping lenses, making sure they can remove Fnatic's vision of their own.
But this next Baron here is going to be the big thing for Fnatic. They need to make sure they have full vision in the jungle of Alliance and around this Baron, and then try and force Alliance to move out of the base and stop them from doing it. If they can get them out here, if they can fight against them in open ground, they will, or should be able to at least, try and do what they did in the last fight here. Pick up a few kills, maybe get Alliance low, or at least just pick up the Baron and then try and do the same here. But again, for Fnatic, it is so risky unless they catch someone from Alliance out with this composition.
Well, if nobody deals with that bottom wave from Fnatic, that's going to slowly push itself along, I feel, which is why, yeah, we are seeing sOAZ going down there. I'd say by the time the Baron spawns, that would be up to the base, that exposed inhibitor, which sOAZ has to deal with that one. Has got teleport available, so no worries there for Fnatic fans. He will be ready to engage, and great vision, honestly, from Fnatic around that Baron pit.
Perfect vision, full control, can see everything Alliance is doing in this area around the Baron here, so they can start it over and over. If Alliance moves in with 5 members, back out. Start again, back out, start again. Force Alliance to move back and forth between the mid lane and the Baron here. And once they spot a single member moving in a wrong position, they can jump him, get the kill, and then they can take the Baron and also push up for the inhibitor.
Fnatic trying to look at collapsing xPeke off at the side. There is a Banshee's Veil on Tabzz and Shook. Froggen may be a juicy target, and he's been using that intervention very early. sOAZ is taking Dragon, actually, while this all happens. Now Alliance have those 5 members. Ooh, they just got a glimpse of xPeke there, who quickly got himself away. And that's actually bought time for Alliance to get in and sweep away all those wards that Fnatic have got in there.
So now Alliance, well, they won't actually get in here to the pink ward. They have to back out. So Fnatic still in the advantage around this area. Also, again, due to all the wards in here.
Yeah, and the reason they have to step away, they can't go too deep, because then they're just leaving that mid lane completely exposed to Fnatic, who have just taken the 6th Dragon of the game for themselves, which is going to keep that gold pushing in the way. xPeke sneakily going in.
xPeke is so annoying.
Using that Mimic to get in, get this taunt. He's going to do it again. Oh, he didn't quite get the basic attack on it this time. Alliance are maybe going to try and take advantage of this. sOAZ is actually pushing on his own down in towards that bottom lane, pushing in towards the inhibitor. Alliance are going to have to make a good use of this and push in towards that tower.
Wickd is actually recalling. The teleport is ready for him, so he will be able to defend the wave, join in for a fight. Alliance now backing off here. Didn't feel like they could just push all the way down. They didn't have full vision of the rest of the members from Fnatic.
Does buy themselves some good tactical advantage to get in and take that pink ward away. Nif actually just off the side. He's got to be careful he doesn't get dived in on it, because he could get burst down very quickly, which is why we see xPeke supporting his support there, coming around with him. Top lane has been cleared out there. Nif trying to use that black soil. xPeke actually trying to bait out the dark binding from Nif. Not going to land. Instead, he could throw it wildly in towards that death bush, but again, just off the side, down the bottom lane. Wickd this time clearing that wave once again. Baron is, of course, now up, and it really is a fight for vision.
And now they actually started here with only 3 members. They're waiting for Alliance to come in, and then they can jump them.
Just on towards Nif. That's going to be Nif pops just like that. No ultimate available. Teleport from Wickd on towards the Baron pit. They're going to back away. They're calling doing work here, but sOAZ blocking it off nicely. He's found out Froggen. Can he get around the side? No, he can't. Nice. Dark Binding goes down. Intervention from Froggen. They haven't really got the damage on the right items. They're going to go down towards Rekkles. That's a pounce on. Shook's doing damage. Rekkles is forced away, but they're putting the damage down in the right places. And Fnatic are shredding Alliance apart. Wickd the only remaining member. And Rekkles chasing on towards him. They don't care. They're going for the mid turret.
No black shield because Nif died instantly when he wanted to ward the Baron here. Meant the stun onto Froggen, locked him down. Multiple members jumped him. And the whole fight for Fnatic, because they had the full vision control in this Baron area, was perfect. Look at this here. They have the vision. They're just waiting for someone to walk in and place a ward. And they will jump them. xPeke, black shield is actually gone from Nif. Instantly popped here. 4 members now only for Alliance, and no black shield most importantly. It means with the 5 members here, Rekkles staying in the back line, and also the beautiful Zone of Flare coming onto Froggen right here. Boom, locking him down. He's now forced out of the fight, and Rekkles still staying in back. And now going on to Wickd here.
Pushing through, they could maybe finish the game here. They've got Wickd down. They took one Nexus turret down. Nif's the only one to spawn. Gets himself the ultimate off. Will it be enough to slow it down? No, it won't. He's going to get locked down. It's a double for Rekkles. The Nexus is going to fall. And Fnatic take themselves top of the table, ending Alliance's win streak, defending their own, and securing a 5-game win streak of their own. Fantastic turnaround from Fnatic.
Fantastic. They did everything right around this Baron here. They defended their wards. Every time Alliance wanted to clear something, xPeke was there to stop them. It meant they had full vision control. Once it started, they got the great team fight. But of course, we have to highlight the fight beforehand where they get Alliance in this choke point and just stay back with Rekkles, stay back with xPeke, and just hammer away onto them, only letting Alliance do damage to Cyanide and sOAZ. It was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, fantastic control. And you see Rekkles on your screen there. We have to highlight, he's leading the All-Star vote right now. He's 7-1-6 in net game on Vayne. We talked about how Vayne can be a powerful machine towards the end there.
How
but really,
he can be.
It was all about xPeke's start, getting that distortion. He actually went in blind on Nif as well because Nif had already cleared out the ward, so he just knew that Nif was going to be around there. So just went in. Bit of a momentary opportunity really going for it, and a fantastic fight from Fnatic.
Just beautifully set up. I mean, they knew that composition, or the composition in a 5 versus 5 straight up would be in favor of Alliance. So they used the Leblanc, the pick comp potential they have, and just defend everything around this area. And as soon as there was a small chance, even though it was blind, he knew someone just popped the ward here. I bet it's Nif. Jump over, instant kill him, boom. 4 members over for Alliance. We are now ahead. We're going to win the fight. So it was just very, very smart play by Fnatic.
And they are now 15-10 in the lead in the standings, of course. That equals also the head-to-head with Alliance at 2-2. So if we do have a tiebreaker, it would have to be another game. But that's 15 games away, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of games to be played over the next 3 days.
And honestly, getting a rematch of Alliance versus Fnatic, I don't complain. I wouldn't mind it. I mean, this game had everything. We had split pushing, we had tower dives, we had early aggression, of course. We didn't get too many kills, but we got a lot of movement around the map. And then the big team fights here. The team fight from Fnatic, when they get Alliance into this choke point, was just beautiful to watch them stand behind, just baiting them always to move further in, and just collapsing and killing everyone, getting the first Baron. And then, of course, setting up the second one. Loved it.
Fantastic fights from both teams. And we talked about how, coming into form at the right time works out. Fnatic, have they done it? You talked about it earlier. You just called them out and said they've only beaten the lower teams. They've now just beaten a team that's tied for the top on a charge and has beaten everyone else in the league. Is this the Fnatic that's going to go and win Spring Split once again?
They're definitely looking at as one of the favorites now. The reason I highlighted the fact that they played against the bottom teams is, yes, 4-game winning streak, but we needed to see them against a top team now before we could really see, is Fnatic back now? Is it the really strong Fnatic we see? And clearly, it is. Beating Alliance here, a team who went 8-0. Also, I believe actually Fnatic is having still the winning streak now in...
They held on to their 9-game win streak, which they'd actually set in spring 2013.
And
so they defended that. They've held on to that, so nobody can get close to that anymore. They could equal it. No, they can't.
Only got 3 games.
They've only got 3 games left. They couldn't equal it, unless we have tiebreakers.
Oh, yeah. If they count.
Then they could go and get on into it. Who knows? But fantastic game. Fnatic find themselves in form at the right time, in the right place.
So, a little bit credit to Alliance here. Gaming-wise, we saw them defend this very, very hard split push from Fnatic early on. We talked about how the composition needed some time to get into late game, and they defended it well. They rotated around. We talked about during the game how they held them off. They actually even got the Baron, pushed down, got the inhibitor. But from there on and out, it was just Fnatic who said, you know what? We need to now step it up again. We had the lead, we lost it, now we're going to get it back. We're going to beat you in these team fights, we're going to bait you into some bad positions, and it was just very good shot calling and very good decision making, and again, experienced teams coming into late game really showed it.
And it was really all about their vision, Fnatic. They managed to get the picks, and if you think about every advantage they gained in that, they picked someone off. They picked off Froggen twice.
It's the whole combo.
They picked off Nif twice. They just managed to find someone down. And as you mentioned, it's the whole combo. Everybody piling in. For now, though, we're going to send things over to Shox and Quickshot, who have Fnatic Cyanide with them to talk about that win.
Thank you very much, D-Man. Indeed, joined by Cyanide after that fantastic game. What a start to Super Week for you guys and for all of us, because it was a viewing pleasure. It was absolutely amazing. But starting off in the beginning, in picks and bans, you guys went with totally different team comps, both of you, in comparison to the last time you guys played. So what were kind of the main things you wanted to play?
In the picks? So we wanted to deny Leblanc from Froggen a bit, since we saw that he played it a lot. And we were actually kind of scared about the Khazix Kayle comp. Like, we are like, maybe they go for this, it would be pretty bad for us. And they did really good, and they got those 2 strong picks, and we were not really happy with that, but we managed to win anyway.
Was it risky, the composition that you guys ran with that top lane Lucian, with Elise? We felt like backstage, Alliance's comp had a very big headroom to outscale you in the late game.
Yeah, our comp was not that great for team fights. Like, we pretty much just had to pick off kills and get objectives, get turrets, and just try to have skirmishes and not fight them head-on 5-on-5. But we managed to do somehow good in the fights anyway. We played really good, and the Vayne was a huge factor as well.
Absolutely, that was late game, but in the beginning, you guys just needed to get ahead to get a little bit of gold advantage. And one thing you guys did very well was blue buff control, all but one time.
Yeah, so leading up to the replay we're about to get to, about 24 minutes, you guys challenged and took every single blue buff. It was quite clear it was a game plan. Let's pull that replay up onto your screens right now, because at the challenge at around about 24 minutes, it looked like you were going to pick a fight. It started well, but then things went a bit awry. Let's roll this clip through and talk me through what was happening in your team.
Yeah, so we wanted to get the blue from Froggen. I ended up getting it here. And here Leona does a really good ult, but then the Shyvana jumps into us, and we just trying to wait for the Kayle ult to end. And xPeke gets a bit caught, but he gets away, it's fine. And now we want to re-engage, but yeah. Here we end up splitting, and it's quite bad. We should have just chased the Khazix, Shyvana, and Kayle here, but we ended up splitting, and then, yeah, we try to go on them and get a bit too greedy since they're quite low, but...
Who's calling this at this point? Because, you know, it looked like you had 3 different thought patterns for which targets to go for.
Yeah, it was chaos. We failed pretty hard here. Like, this shouldn't normally happen, that we split this hard, and the calls were really different here. So it was a really bad fight from us.
What caused the bad calls? The confusion, the chaos, or something else?
Yeah, it was just a chaos, and there was really no like one good move to make. So there were like 2 things, and we were kind of doing 2 things at the same time, and it's really bad always.
Maybe that back call, that one back call, is it that you guys are a little bit more nervous now than the past few weeks? Because it's coming down to the wire.
Not really about being nervous, because I feel like we play better when we are under pressure, since we are so experienced, at least for myself. So it was just a fail. I don't know.
So I've got a bit of an interesting question from the side. You guys secured 6 out of 7 dragons that game. That's twice as many dragons as you've taken from Alliance the entire split. Coming into this match, you'd only taken 3 out of 14. Was Dragon a focus point against this team, or was it purely the composition you were playing that allowed you to get them?
Yeah, like I said, we had a pick-off comp, and we kind of won the early, so we could, with Elise, just try to get all the Drakes, and we managed to do that. But then I think we did one bad fight at Baron, which was kind of deadly, but we managed to come back anyway, so...
Yeah, final question maybe about the game. Tell me about that Baron fight where you did do very well. Not really the Baron fight, where you got them in the choke point there, right under blue.
Yeah, I totally baited them. I didn't get caught on anything, so it was totally intentional. And yeah, then we just had a perfect position to fight, like Lucian stunned them all, and Vayne could just clean up.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to ask the final question? I give you the honors.
So the question that I was that I was thinking about with regards to the rest of the split, in the pre-game we heard both Fnatic and Alliance saying if they won this first game, either team would feel very confident going forward. With 3 games left for Super Week and getting closer to guaranteeing a playoff spot, how is the mood in the camp knowing you have another game today and 2 very more tough games tomorrow and Thursday?
Yeah, like today is the hardest day, I think, for sure, since we play against the first place contesters. But if we win them both, I think we will feel really good about ourselves already, and we already do.
Well, you certainly got momentum going for you right now. Congratulations once again, Cyanide. We'll catch you right back to base for a short break, but stay with us because 2 teams will be fighting for a spot in the playoffs as Roccat and the Super Hot Crew battle when we come back. Stay with us.
And we can invade their blues. That's what Fnatic is going to have to throw a ward down. Cyanide getting caught out there. Not too sure if they realized the Dark Binding in cover. They didn't really execute on towards it. Now they do. Cyanide getting caught down. He's going to jump in towards it. Rekkles doing damage from the side here, though. This is a good fight maybe for Fnatic. They've got themselves choked in towards the corner, and that works wonders for the distortion. We see xPeke going in. Wickd taken low. Rekkles gets himself 1. They jump on towards the next. YellOwStaR focusing down. Shook taken solo. Tabzz is going to get focused off. He's going to get caught down. Froggen goes down. Rekkles gets himself a double. The choke point was disastrous for Alliance.